Georgia is setting up to be a key battleground state in the 2020 presidential election. Both President Donald Trump and the top Democratic candidates will be in Georgia next month. A big part of campaigning, of course, is raising money. New numbers from the Atlanta Business Chronicle reveal how much candidates are raising here in Georgia. So let's start with the big picture. Donors in Georgia gave more than $1.5 million towards presidential campaigns between January and June of this year. More than 90% went to Democratic candidates. Former Vice President Joe Biden leads with more than $350,000 in donations in our state, followed by California Senator Kamala Harris with $311,000, South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg, number 3, with $277,000. Georgia donors gave President Donald Trump just over $102,000 during that same 6-month period. President Trump will be in Atlanta November 8th to hold a campaign fundraiser. And as we mentioned just a bit ago, the Democratic presidential candidates debate will be here November 20th. You can cover all the coverage for us on the White House and how it will impact Georgia voters. Follow all of that on the politics section on our 11 Alive News app.